Hey busy professional, and welcome back to another video where we help you to find the best productivity tools for your setup. You might have seen the previous video where I shared a brand new tool called Lazy that might replace so many other tools, and you saw the thumbnail and you might think now with this thumbnail from this video, what the heck are you talking about, Tom? You just said there is one tool that replaces them all and now you're doing exactly the same video again. What is this clickbait? Well, I can tell you, at the Paperless Movement, we strongly believe there is not one tool to solve all your needs. And we are currently working on a digital note-taking course that will be very comprehensive in going into the different types of note-taking and what tools you should use for what. In order to better visualize you what I mean by all this, let's have a look at our ICOR framework, where I showed you in another video the 10 tools that we use at the Paperless Movement. So here we see there is MEM, but there are also tools called utility apps, okay? And there you see there is Evernote and there is Tana and there's Miro, and these are tools that are used for specific use cases. For example, Tana is used by our co-founder Paco Cantero especially for outlining. That's a great outliner. And Evernote is something to temporarily collect notes very quickly and for handwritten notes. And Miro is for conceptual work. So in fact, the ICOR mastery course that we have inside the membership have been developed inside Miro. And in fact, I'm still showing you here this on Miro. So now the big question is, what was this other video? The other video was talking about Lazy. And Lazy, in our opinion, will replace MEM if they really can deliver what I talked about in the other video. But we think that Lazy has the potential to replace MEM in our tool stack because it has a lot more to offer when it comes to capturing, storing and retrieving information. And that's where we make the difference. There's capturing, storing and retrieving information, and there is developing your thinking, and there we bring in Heptabase, okay? So a Heptabase is to develop your thinking. And when we go back to the utility apps again, Tana and Miro was used to develop our thinking, to develop the course, to use existing information and put it into a different perspective. And now in this video, Paco and I show you what we've done with Heptabase so far and why we think this is the next big thing. Because it combines so many other note-taking app tools in one, but the team behind Heptabase, they looked into all the existing note-taking apps very carefully and extracted the best features and combined it into Heptabase. That's why we think this will replace Obsidian, Roam Research, many other tools, at least for us it does already. And in combination with Lazy, this would be the perfect setup. If Lazy is not as good as we are hoping for, this would be the combination. But certainly that's something we can announce already. Heptabase is our new tool of choice. And this probably was flying under the radar for many of you out there. And that's why we are here to tell you about this. The Paperless Movement is not sponsored. Heptabase is not sponsoring us. MEM is not sponsoring us. None of these tools that we mentioned in this video is sponsoring us in any way. It is all about providing to our Paperless Movement members the best tools out there for the job. And why we really think that Heptabase sticks out, you will find out in this video. So let's dive in.
I've been using MEM for 3 years, and what really resonated with me about MEM at the beginning was that I didn't need any tags or folders or whatever. I just throw the information in and then I can retrieve it. And that's where I think that MEM is amazing, capturing and retrieving. But the point is that there was a missing link that I've been fighting with for these 3 years, that MEM doesn't help me to develop my thinking process. Because to develop my thinking process, I need to have a visualization of it, things that I can move around when we're talking about complex, because I always saw the thinking process at 3 different layers. The point is at 3 different layers. You got the visual, the outlining, and the, let's call it the long text format. And depending on the thought, I go from one to another. And this is what I was missing, because in MEM, you don't have the visualization of the thing. And also, it's not an outliner, and that's pretty important.
Oh, that's why we have the combination of Miro, Tana, MEM, Evernote.
But that creates a friction because you are moving from one app to another. Because, for instance, I was using for quite a long time myNote. And then they started integrating the outlining because it's the normal process. You start visualizing something, then you create an outline of the things, that a hierarchy of your thoughts, and then you go deep into each of the bullets, expressing the end thoughts. The point is that here it's Heptabase. This is the missing link, because here I can combine everything. And whenever I go to map here, I can zoom in one whiteboard. And here I organize my life, because this is my life. When I go into the whiteboard, boom, this is my life. It represents everything in such a simple way that it's pretty easy for me to find everything, because here there are three main elements in my life. I'm gonna also look at the sidebars, man. I can make a space. Now I need my whole screen. Here I see my whole life. It's just represented by what I call KEs. It's key elements. Those are like the most important things that I need to pay attention to.
That's what we explain in the ICOR mastery course as well, the key
elements.
Correct.
That's it. Then my roles, because I have different roles in my life. I am a father, a son, a business partner, a lover, whatever, you name it. And finally, my topics. Those are the things I'm interested in. So this is all my life. If I move to the key elements, I always differentiate as I'm running for different businesses. I have one key element for each company. Here you see the 4 of them. But I also have a personal life. Here I differentiate between business and personal life. But I got an overall view of everything at any moment. If I need, that's the zoom in and zoom out that I cannot do if it's not visually, because our life are quite complex. The point is that right now you see, and here in myself, I got some other things that are growth, health, personal administration. Those are for me the key elements that I need to pay attention. I love growing in life. I have to pay attention to my health, and I need to also pay attention to my personal administration. The point is that you see here this icon. Whenever I click on it, I go into the text mode just in a flash. I don't want to see it. I close it. But here, look, here I create an entry that it's a goal. And here everything starts to make sense, because right now here, if I go to tags, people say a lot about, wow, the super tags in Tana, These are the super tags, because these are not the standard tags that people are used to. These are databases, and that's how powerful it is, because here, when I press goal, boom, I got all my goals here. But I can go quickly to my map, if I want to go there. But here also, look how this brilliant implementation, because at any moment, I can go back to the things that I've been working right now. I can clean. I'm not interested in this. I just want to focus on this, and I can navigate at this moment. I can clean. I can collapse, open. It's so intuitive, man, because I've been using this for just 3 days, and look, all the things that I have done. For instance, if I go to Heptabase, I made a deep analysis of this thing. Look at it. Here it is, man. I got everything in here. I got the vision, but here the vision. What is the vision? Boom. I create the vision, but I got the source because it's integrated with Readwise, man. Yeah. Then I can see all the highlights here. And whenever I'm interested in something, imagine this here, you see, it's a block. And then I can drag here. If I'm interested, boom, I got it here. I'm not interested, boom, I remove it, because it's just a reference. This is the beauty and the amazing approach of this application that creates the different layers of working with your knowledge in an amazing way, because whenever something is stupid, you just write it down, you are calm, and then the moment that you really think this is something amazing, life-changing, as we say, a point of inflection in my life, then you move to the next level. It's a card. And then a card, you got a library of cards. This is if you see it like this, it sounds like mem, but here I can also see them in a grid. And here, boom, I want to see, I don't know, my reading workflow. This is something I've been working right now. Boom, it's here. Something amazing. I can make it even bigger, as big as I want. And here I have an exact split of my screen. And then I can move things from one point to another. The beauty of this, I'm combining. Whenever a card gets complicated, I can keep growing the things to a mind map, a whiteboard, a section. But here, for instance, I was thinking about maybe a course it came from an idea, and boom, I created this. What about creating something explaining my reading workflow for reading on the internet, Twitter, deep stats, or PDF? Here is how I make everything. And at this moment, Heptabase, it's a card. If I press here, I can see. But look how what these guys have done, man, is distilling every single note taken up, simplifying to the best, and then combining the best features so that you get the best, but without overcomplicating the things. Because here, if I go to here, boom, this is Miro or whatever, a Scrintal, or I don't know, a myNote, you name it. Because also you got, I remember right now that I had something about, it was meditation, or was it? There's a whiteboard, because I can show here, I'm not sure. You see, a mind map, boom. I love mind maps. There are moments that a mind map is more useful, but you see how I'm moving inside my knowledge because it's a structure. The moment I get lost, I can go back to my life. And then it's the starting point because this is perfectly structured in my brain. And then, as I was saying, you can find here things like Miro, you got things from mem, as we saw here. This sounds intuitive for people from Rome. Let me check in some of the, I think Heptabase, for instance. I can, at any moment, I can look for here, Heptabase. And here I got all the notes that I wrote about Heptabase. I can search and also see how can see the content here, man, of the card. Here, when you are looking for something, when you are mentioning something that sometimes you create a link to a card, a mem or whatever, and you are not sure, is that the right thought that I want to link? Yeah, and then here, it's floating window, but then you can maximize and boom. And then, as I tell you, focus, man, focus with this. And here, this sounds like Rome, doesn't it? For instance, tools, man, that these guys have taken just the thing, because here, boom, I got the information here. It's amazing, man, how I can navigate easily, intuitively, without feeling constraints when I'm navigating. And that's what I'm finding wonderful, because it looks like I've been dedicating 3 years to this app, and it's just 3 days, man.
Oh yeah, now let me share my Heptabase when I just started yesterday to show you what I came up with. So we are very aligned here when it comes to the functionalities. I'm using the web version instead the version, and obviously I'm using the light version, you're using the dark version as usual. I like the way you presented the My Life. That's something I will take over, because this way you always can start on a center point and then you know exactly where to go to. Here I worried already about the map, and it becomes messy, and it like Miro when you have a lot of boards then and you don't find what you were looking for. So I will take over this My Life thing. Obviously the key elements that we teach in ICOR is something that is perfectly taken advantage of in Heptabase. So for example, tools. I started to create a tool database. And this is so easy because I started with Heptabase as well. Then I realized, oh, they have tags. And then I realized when you use the tags that you can use the properties. And this is the super tags in Tana. But in Tana, to me, it was too complicated to wrap my head around how to use this. And in Heptabase, it was so intuitive to set all these things up. So I went the next step and I thought, let's make some tool feedback here, right? That's a text file. And then you can also inside there, you can mention other cards and also dates. So I could now go to the state and then I see all the other things. However, that's not implemented yet. That properties mentions are not showing as backlinks in the different cards yet. But Alan, the co-founder of Heptabase, ensured they're working on this. And it's worth adding already now, because it will be retrospectively added whenever this feature comes alive. As now we could make a Kanban board out of this. Because the moment you create a Kanban, it just creates the status. There are so many positives. So let's dive into Heptabase review. And there are many things that you mentioned, and this is how I laid this out. So I saw that we are using Miro or Scrintal. These are conceptual work and whiteboarding. And then Obsidian logseek is something people use for backlinks, note linking, but now they added canvas and whiteboards as well. And there's even a discussion going on if is Heptabase still worth. However, the complexity is really important here. And you said it already before. They synthesized or they distilled the best features out of all these tools that we listed here. Heptabase has it all, but even better, because they distilled what works best in all these tools and made it to the point. And this is really the
It's something
approach.
crucial for me and pretty important. The thing of they took from Notion the block concept, and that's something amazing because you can make a reference to a block.
Whenever I go, as you showed,
talking about the format of the text, that it's something that people suffer. We know that business professionals suffers when you go, for instance, to a plain text thing, or let's say mem, that they cannot make a minimal format of colors or highlight or whatever. This is something that you can also do. And also these block structures that you can use the slash and create the main ones, a header, a toggle, whatever. It's something impressive for me because you don't need anything else. It's just don't overcomplicate things. Let's take just the essential, and from there we will try to stay so we don't overcomplicate and overthink the tool for the user.
Exactly. So when, as you showed already, these are all actual cards and they are living in several spaces. I could now take this block, as you said, I could now drag this block out and it became a card. So it converted it into a card. If I click there now, it scrolls to the card. And whenever I'm only here, I click there, it opens up this card. So it converted it into an individual card. That's what's happening if you drag out a block out of your node. What I also liked is, for example, when I was building this up, let's remove this from there. When I was building this up, I thought, how do I get these cards in? So in order to make this quickly as possible, obviously you could go to the library and start searching and then drag out. I love that it finds out what is already on your whiteboard, because no matter how complex your whiteboard is, you will see it's already there. No matter, I could still drag it a second time in there because I might have a different concept that I want to talk about.
Something amazing about the relational database model that they have created, because the main database is just the cards. The rest of elements are just references to the main database, so that you can have a card in multiple other objects inside the application, and you can remove it and just disappears from there. But also you got the traceability. That for me, that's pretty important. From here, it's impossible not to know where that information came to your system from. And for me, knowing the source of any idea, it gives you the context that you need to develop your thinking. That's one of the conclusions that I have drawn also.
And also, I was talking about how to get in the cards. So that is where it becomes really powerful, the global search and the high speed of the search. So if you hit Command O, you just start searching for a tool that is not existing in my database here on Heptabase yet. All right. So let's say Evernote. There we go. Evernote is not there. However, it shows me all the tweets from Readwise, right? And the blogs where Evernote was mentioned and so on. But when you're on the very top and you search for this and you hit top, then you go to the very bottom and you can instantly create a new card of Evernote, and there it is. And then whenever this card exists, you could now go here and add to whiteboard or just use Command M, and then you can search for the whiteboard. But what I did instead is using the global search, Evernote, boom, and then you have down here Shift Enter to add to whiteboard, and that's how I did it. So Shift Enter, boom, you have it there. You can collapse it, and then I can bring it over and start working. Then again, Command 2, that's really where how fast and how great the keyboard shortcut implementation is in Heptabase.
Because also if you are thinking and at that moment you need to create a card, you just use the secondary button and you can create a card immediately. And then you create the card and then you can go deep using the sidebar to describe, to put your ideas down. So it's impossible that you miss a thought or whatever, because you can move quickly to moving things around to boom, something really resonated with you, came to your mind, then you started writing it down. And that's something that I was missing in any visual tools, even Miro, that it's an amazing tool full of, I don't know, millions of features. But the moment that I want to go deep, I need a description that has no structure. I couldn't add any other content, because the beautiful thing about a card is that you can add any type of content.
Tana, you mentioned it is like the super tags and the databases, but you also always love Tana for the outlining experience. And we get an outliner here as well. So I can just have here a drop down, and then we have the outlining experience. You have level 1, and then you get in level 2 and you get in level 3. And that's what many tools have. But in the end, in MEM, for example, it's just bullet points. And therefore I can now reduce this. Now, if I say level 3, this should be a card on my whiteboard. I can again just drag it out. It instantly makes it a card. And it seems it doesn't recognize this now as that's a bug. But the idea works. Now I have this card level 3 and I instantly have external Heptabase reviews. I can go here and I see exactly where this card was created. That's so intuitive, creating these workflows. But also what you mentioned is the rich text. So the best from Notion, it's not, I mentioned here Notion for super text database structure. So we talked about databases, but Notion is great for the UI UX, how to add text, how to add rich content. And that's something that MEM always gave me friction. I don't understand still why they don't allow YouTube embeds and things like that, because I'm a visual person. And when you have this on Miro, you drag in a YouTube video, you see the YouTube video, you can play the YouTube video. Now the things are playing in here. Hitting slash, you get all the things that you can do. And then they already implemented, man. We both read the article of the vision behind Heptabase. And if they really keep delivering on the things, it ticks all the boxes that we have for a note-taking tool. And they already made a great job. Let's open up this here. See, I can instantly switch the text here, and then I can just say, that's interesting. I just select this. Now I could say, make a note, make a highlight, or add this to whiteboard. So boom, I just click here. The selection is on the whiteboard. If I close this, I have the selection from my PDF file here. And now I can click here, locate, highlight. It will open up the PDF and scroll directly to the point where I extracted this. This is even margin notes. So for those who are using iPad, they know margin notes. And this was exactly the feature that they delivered, that you were able to create mind maps out of your selections here. So now I could go through a scientific paper and keep just highlighting. So you can just only highlight and then you can just drag out. That's so intuitive. And you still have the connections here and it will always go. And this is the first steps of implementation. Also, if I now go here and start searching for some of the text that we have here, like moving, there's a lot. See, it finds the highlight, but it also finds the block inside this PDF file. And this is very powerful. I also mentioned is adding videos, transcriptions. And again, all this is already available in different apps. So in Reader, not Readwise, the Reader app to capture things. If you send a YouTube video there, it will make automatically the transcription. You can make highlights in there, and then it would appear here through the Readwise implementation. But again, this is a workaround. The moment they will make available that YouTube videos become searchable, this will be a game changer, at least for me, who I'm watching more than I read. I know for you it's the opposite. Yeah. So you might use more the PDF integration, but yeah, that's really amazing. Or when they have a web clipper, and then there are so many ways they can improve, but they will, no doubt about this.
If they don't have a web clipper, you can send them to Readwise, the Read Later app there, and then you make all the process there, because for me, the highlighting the comment, it's inside my queue, that is the Read Later app. And then the things that matter, so it's like a layer of, to avoid cluttering up your PKM, because at the end, what you want here is the things that you consider that are useful. So for me,
I agree. So that's exactly what I said with that you can use the Reader app right now, and also with the Kindle, and everything gets integrated. What's missing here to me, in my opinion, is now an inbox.
Yes,
so
of course.
When you see what I actually just added and throw in, if you use Milanote and you just send something to Milanote, it will get a list where you see the recent ads. Also the inbox from MEM, whenever you send something there, so you know immediately what I just added. Here I need to go to the card library, and then you are here in the all cards and order when it was created. However, it's not for the highlights, right? So in the highlights, I think it just keeps adding in here. So
yeah, the thing that I'm doing to create that inbox while they don't have it, because I think that's something that they can implement pretty fast right now. Recently, Tana did it, because it's something that people, I heard a lot of people criticizing the inboxes and things like that, because say that then you have to distill and then you waste time. But at the end, I don't know why, but all the tools, significant tools in the world, create an inbox, because it's a point. The point is that people don't know how to distill their inboxes inside their routines and habits, and that's a problem. But right now, what I'm doing is I create a hashtag pending, and then whenever I make the search, in the card library with hashtag pending, everything appears because that's not a tag inside Heptabase. It's just a text. So the moment I process it, I remove the tag and that's it. I know it's not so pro.
But you can do this in Reader then. So you add the hashtag in Reader.
Yes, so for instance, when I capture, because Heptabase has a mobile app, and then when I have a thought, I write it down, I hashtag as hashtag pending, and then it appears here because it works perfectly. Then that's the inbox at that moment, and then I process all my pending things, and then but it's also missing to-dos.
We have to keep in mind they just launched in 2021. They started working on this application. It's amazing what they pulled off, and the quality of everything, the UI, UX, and how I never saw any issues with synchronization or anything like this. And that's just amazing. So I agree with all the points that you say, but we both see the big picture here for this tool because...
Yes, because I think that they have created a solid foundational core from where they can start leveraging pretty quickly. Also, we have pay attention to the release. They have an amazing post on Medium talking about their releases that they made last year, and it was simply amazing. They are also pretty active in their Discord community. That's something important too. And this is at the moment what we can say about this tool.
Also very important, because always betting on new tools is dangerous, right? Putting in your data, but they have an amazing export as well. So you can all the time, anytime export all the things as markdown files. And this is great as well. But this being said here, just a quick example where I started now to bring all the polls together. We keep doing polls publicly and asking people about what they want to see and everything. And there was always a point when I thought, man, we need to collect the information in a better way. And here is what I did, right? It's again, I use a tag poll. I know now this is a poll. When I click there, you see there are two properties that I added when I published it, and the link to the poll. I click there and I go directly to this poll. And therefore I now have the combination of visual thinking and then
combine. And it's also because it's a combination of subtleties, those nuances that create, because here you see what you are doing right now, it's collapsing, and then you collapse, you can move things, you can open again, you can check that, you can go to the sidebar, you can split and close all the sidebars. Man, that's so flexible, so intuitive, so wonderful that it helps you develop your knowledge. No, that's
well, it's a fact. We could go on and on with all the things that they have here, but I think what we shared so far.
I wrote a 20 minutes really document about the things that I liked about
you
this.
You can be sure that we will publish an in-depth article about this, because we think there is really something big on the horizon there. Okay guys, this was it. That was the first walkthrough of Heptabase, and it shows you our thought process at the paperless movement, why we decided that we will go all in Heptabase. And in fact, Heptabase will be part of our digital note-taking course. So if you are not a member yet, there was never a better time to sign up to our paperless movement membership. And in this digital note-taking course, we will show you how to implement these tool-agnostic concepts and workflows inside Heptabase, Apple Notes, and maybe Lazy or MEM, depends on. So make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll catch you up next time.